Maybe you don't even come home till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. It is what it is. What works for me isn't always going to work for you, and other people's requirements on your time need to be negated. It's what works for you and your family. What's up, podcast fam? All right, so another dirty napkin. Look, this one is one that's very personal to me, and something that I've struggled with. And a lot of these are going to be my struggles because it's my way to kind of just digest the things I'm taking in and then regurgitating out that I think other business owners and entrepreneurs struggle with. And that is, their requirements don't have to be your requirements. And here's what I mean by that. Like, when I was starting my businesses and working a full-time job that I had to work to be able to have the income, to be able to live so that I could start these things, there's a lot of hate or shade that can be thrown your way when you're coming home to be with your family at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but you spend that time not with your family and you're in the basement working on that side hustle until 10:30 that night. You may walk up, kiss your wife goodnight, maybe, and then go back downstairs till 4 o'clock in the morning, go to bed for a couple hours, go to that 9 to 5er, to come home and start it all over again. There's a lot of hate that can get thrown on you. And that was a thing that, and it's still hard for me to struggle with, as a owner of multiple companies and running multiple brands. Like, there are times where I'm going to have to miss things. That's just the way that it is. I may not make it to that soccer game. I may not make it to that golf tournament or that gymnastics meet. And people can point fingers. It's real easy to point fingers and say that that person's a bad father, that person's a bad mother because they're missing things. But what they don't see are, you're missing that one event now allows you to go create memories at Disney World or go on that trip to Hawaii or go do the things that your family really loves. And so the requirements of other people, if it works for you to stay at the office till 9:30 every night and then come home, then that's what works for you. If that works for your dynamic and your family, then punt what everybody else thinks. And it doesn't matter the requirements that other people have on your time. It only matters what works for you and what works for your family. I know a lot of people that are like, hey, why are you at the office at 8:30 at night? Don't you have kids? Yes, I do have kids, and there's times that it makes more sense for me to stay at the office till 8:30 than it does to go home at 5, because if I go home at 5, I'm going to be on my phone anyways until 8:30, 9 o'clock. And is it really more valuable to me to be physically present but not mentally present, or just not be present at all, and then when I do come home, I can be 100% all in physically and mentally in that time period? Maybe Saturday and Sunday is when you get all the time you can get and want with your family. Maybe Monday through Friday, it's an agreement that, look, Monday through Friday, I'll be home when I can be home, and I'll be at the office when I have to be at the office. Your requirements and what works for you shouldn't be predicated on the requirements of somebody else. You do you keep your circles, you keep your relationships, your time is your time, and what works for you in those moments in that time, it really doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. And I think that's something that took me a long time to get over, because it's not only people in outside circles that are giving shade, it's people in the circle that can give shade. It's family. Maybe that's something you got to work through with your spouse, with your kids. Maybe your kids need to understand why, you're going to be at the office till 7 o'clock every Tuesday night. That's just, my wife and I had a conversation the other day about, hey, maybe there's one night a week where you just stay until you get it all done. Maybe you don't even come home till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. It is what it is. What works for me isn't always going to work for you, and other people's requirements on your time need to be negated. It's what works for you and your family.